Today we're talking one of the most important tools to success in the fashion industry, personal branding. Whatever you are, a content creator trying to increase your social presence and your social following, or a model looking to stand out, or a business owner / representative who wants to build a name in a competitive market, this video is for you. Our beautiful guest, Krystyna, she went from running her own company in the fashion industry into helping people worldwide to build their personal brand. Krystyna, thank you very much for being with us today. I'm very happy that you agreed to have this non-formal conversation today. So today we're going to talk about, again, personal branding, why it's so important, and you are an expert how to sell it in a with the high bill, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so as you say, as you identify yourself, and as I Googled, I chat GPT, that personal branding, it starts with the identity. You have to identify yourself, right? Who you are, what values you have, what is your mission. So tell us about who you are, what are your values, and what is your mission.
Wow, this is an inspiring introduction. Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be here. As you well mentioned, I was running fashion companies. I actually had a footwear brand that we expanded into 54 international markets. And we got award of Golden Exporter of our country. And it was a quite impressive growth for us as a manufacturer and the footwear brand. And later I opened retail stores in my country. I'm originally from Ukraine. And here we go. The years passed. I was transitioning from my own businesses to consulting agency, and finally went to education, where I truly found my mission. And I hope we're going to talk a little bit about that too and spread the message. The thing you said about the identity, it's crucial. So for everybody who is watching us now and struggling and like, it just doesn't work, I don't know what to post, it's like trying to pretend to be someone never works. So the first step that people need to really do is to discover who they are already and just find a way to show that to people on their socials.
When you moved to Spain, I know that it was quite a tough time for you, right? But after that, you found a job in a Turkish company. And you start working in the shoe manufacturing, something like that, right?
Yeah.
So that was your start of fashion background.
Yeah, sure. So they're like everything in life that was coincident, but not coincident. So I came to Spain, I learned Spanish, I went into the university and I started to actually learn business. I started to study business administration. On the first year of my university, it was really tough, like all in between the part that I skipped. So I was trying to find any possible job, but it wasn't very easy with the document because I had student visa, etc. But when you want, you always find a way. So I was finding my way all the way through. And once I met someone, and this person calls me once and says, "Hey, Krystyna, listen, I have some clients, they are coming from Eastern Europe. They want to visit manufacturers, like Spanish manufacturers, and they need a translator. Would you be willing to, come with this company and just, go with them around?" And I was like, yeah. And then they asked, "Krystyna, and what is your shoe size?" And I was like, okay, unexpected. And I was like, "It's 37 Europe." And there's like, "Oh my God, you are just perfect." Because the shoe size, sample shoe size. So every sample there's 37, and wow, this is just insane. So I said yes, and I started to go with this company and trying the shoes of understanding, but on them, while I was going with them, and that lasted for a week or so, I was always as I'm not a person who just sits and translate. Now I'm trying to figure out, I'm trying to understand the business.
To bring the value.
Exactly. I'm trying to understand, okay, what this company needs and what this company needs. How can I be that bridge, that source, of finding common ground and reaching the goals and making the best trip for them, the best deal for them? How can I do that? So I was observing everything like a sponge, and it's getting everything, sucking all the knowledge that I was hearing. And this company, they eventually invited me to become their representative. But I said no, because I already felt like there should be something, bigger for me than just sitting in the office. And so I offered, and in the same time, the other company said, wow, can you bring more clients like that? And then I understood that there's like my values in connecting those, people. And I opened the first consulting agency, which was, by the way, total disaster.
That was your first try.
Yes.
Okay.
So that was the first try. And I would say that for 8 months straight, I was every single day for 10 hours just doing research of I didn't have a niche itself, right? So I didn't just decide to focus on the footwear. So I would just go around all the niches, and obviously no strategy, no experience. And I just couldn't understand where I can bring the value. So that didn't work. But that company, the first company that I visited, that was a Spanish manufacturer, because we were keeping in touch, they called me once and they said, listen, we have a footwear exhibition in Milano. Would you come with us? Because you speak a couple of languages. I think you can be useful to us. And I was like, sure. So I gave them a prize, but I didn't have a document in that moment because I was like in a student visa and you have to extend it. And it was too risky. So I had to take cars. And actually that was in between of my extensions of my visa. So I was like taking blah, blah cars and like going to Italy. But the funny thing was before that, a few days before the trip, the owner from the company probably made his like calculation, and he's like, Krystyna, you know what? I think you should come the next time with us because, it's like, it's too costly now. And it's like, doesn't fit our budget. And I was like, no, I'm coming. And he's like, excuse me? And I was like, I'm coming. Everything is set. I'm coming. And he couldn't, probably resist that. So he was like, all right, come. And then the journey began. So I started to go with different blah, blah cars. I arrived to Italy. We made that exhibition. And in that exhibition, I met my future boss and partner and the person who literally changed my life.
Just a quick explanation that BlaBlaCar is a service where you can find a driver. And this driver, like, he goes from one town to another town, from point A to point B, and you just book a random, basically just like a random guy. let's say that.
Yeah.
And it's kind of scary. So especially when you are a young lady, lots of girls, they are very afraid of using that. Yeah, so I believe you are motivated enough to take a risk.
Yeah, it's not only a driver. It's like I had 3 or 4 people with us in the cars, and those 3 or 4 people would be changing all the time. So it's a share ride company, and we would be just, traveling with complete strangers.
Like Uber shuttle, let's put it, but on a long distance.
Exactly, yeah. So
okay.
Yeah.
And and then how it happened that you joined into being a personal consultant, right? Because now you're doing like personal consultancy services to different people, to different experts in various industries. Am I right?
Yeah.
So how it happened?
So let's wrap that in a structured way, so the other people can also see how they can eventually transition to a knowledge-based businesses. So after I moved from Spain to Turkey on my 3rd year of the university. So I had to step out.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, the people go to the university to have the opportunity. And I have this opportunity now. And I say, oh, please wait me 5 years. I'm going to come later when I'm prepared. I'm like, no, I'm ready. So I moved to Turkey. We built a business. I became managing partner of the company. I became managing director of the company. And that was...
So you became a managing director, partner or director of the company. And how old was you that time?
I was 22, I guess.
22.
Yeah.
Okay, that's crazy.
Yeah. We had 3 manufacturers. Yeah, that's interesting thing. We had 3 manufacturers. It was a big move. So I would say here, like, one tip is just try to understand the value, like where is the most valuable, where you contribute, and never stop. So I was always taking much more responsibility than business development manager, which my initial position was. And I was involved in everything. I was wondering how the shoes are produced, how we can cut the cost, how the marketing works. Like, I was figuring it all out. So when there was a choice of who will be in charge of the company, it's like the person who learned a lot and who was completely devoted to the company became the best candidate. So we built a big store. So in 5 years, we were in 54 countries, golden exporter of the countries, all around the industrial magazines. I was on TV. It was a big success story. So company started to ask me, how did you do that? Like, help us. And that's how I started.
Other companies, they approached you to understand how you grown that company.
Exactly. They were like, what are you guys doing? Like, Krystyna's, like, what are you doing exactly? And that's how I created a consulting agency aside from the business. So, and
that one, which was a disaster, you said.
No, that was a new one. Yeah.
Okay.
So a disaster was before I actually understood where I can be valuable and having any experience. So now when I already built a successful company, when we are already in most of the markets of the world, our brand that was actually in all the countries that you could imagine, like all Europe, United States, Canada, Australia, like Mongolia, Korea, like everywhere. So now I have the experience. Now I can break that down for people and say, look, you need to follow these steps. You need to do this. You need to create an import-export department. And that's how you should manage it. And that's how you should make your campaigns. And that's what you do in the fashion shows.
So now you have a coaching company, right? And you coach people on building their personal branding and how to sell high-ticket services or products based because of their personal branding. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
So now I'm focusing on helping experts and entrepreneurs to share their knowledge and sell it through their personal brand.
Okay, that's beautiful. So I talked to ChatGPT and it told me that the core components of personal branding, such as identity and values, who you are, your mission, vision, values, and your purpose, of course, expertise and strengths, visual and verbal presence, online and offline reputation. Do you think that some of these key core components are more important and there are some less important, or they are, or all of them, they're kind of equal?
Yeah, good question. So I do believe, let me start with this idea. I do believe that all of us already have personal brand.
Okay.
So the difference is the influence, the extension, like how widely spread this personal brand is. So if we know a couple of people and a couple of people knows us, our personal brand is limited to those couple of people. That's the reach that brand has. So those components that you were telling, from one side, it's like a core of who you are. And the second part of it is how you want to spread it, basically through which channels. So the first part about your identity, I would also add not only identity, values, but also your story, right? So where you're coming from and actually what made you the person you are. We started today with a story, right? So this is the core piece of everything, because if you see three experts, they have absolutely identical expertise, but they come from different background, and one resonates to you and another not. Guess who you're gonna listen to, whose product you're gonna buy? The person that resonates the most with you. Maybe you went to the same school, maybe you're from the same country, or maybe you also have like a harsh childhood story that you could share and talk about. So I would say that this, like, who you are is shaped by what do you call identity, but identity is just like a group of qualities, beliefs, what you think you figure out probably. So I would break it down like this, and this is actually how our program starts. It starts exactly with your story, structure your story. Because
okay, so you mean, like, let's say if I would enroll to your program, let's say I want to I want to work on my personal branding, right?
Yeah.
And I do enroll to your program. So in that case, we would start from the background.
So everything you want to avoid, it is all possible. So whoever starts building their personal brand, they also might have some, points that they don't want to mention. But I would say it's a big mistake. Try to hide some pieces where one thing is where you're really limited, like it was other people were involved, you cannot share, like it's unethical, etc. But most of the people, they're just scared. They have fear of being vulnerable. They are scared of showing that they're also like human with emotion. But this is exactly what makes people resonate with you. So I would say like this, of course, always we respect parts of the story that nobody is going to push you to share something you don't want. You can have your taboos, etc. But we would work a lot of like, is it a fear or a real limitation? Because being vulnerable, it's important. It's important to resonate with people. So we would start by structuring your story, considering some points where you probably don't want to share. Nothing like, you don't need to share absolutely everything, right? So it's like turning points that make sense and that led you to become who you are today. So this is a first crucial part. And actually, it's not about only your past, because your story is also about what you're doing now and how that was shaped during the all previous years. Just like I told you, I gained the experience, I opened the consulting agency. One of my clients hired me as a consultant. That was a business education company. Then we became partner in South America and built for 3 years. And then I do my own business education company focusing on personal brand here in the US. So all those turning points led me to a point where I'm sitting now and sharing this, and I can back up with all that steps showing, look, this is not that I woke up as like, now I'm personal brand expert. This has a solid foundation. And this is what we do as a very first step.
So, okay, a first step, it would be to analyze who you are. And based on that, you have to build a story, your life story, right? That you can share with people.
I would say uncover, unpack. Because you don't exactly build that. You actually take that from the ground up. So a great master is like the person who can just like get all that knowledge from your information and help you to structure. Because when we're structuring it up on our own, and this is the hardest thing that happens to me, right? I have a company, so I usually say to my people, like, please do the session with me, because everything looks important. Like, you have fears about saying everything. It's like, and you need that, the other person just to structure everything in an easier way. So you structure that. You have your story. You have, which we actually called like a core base of who you are and where you are going. And then we craft the positioning. So based on that, we craft now how the other people can actually perceive what you are, what you wear, and what they can do with you. So we start building that positioning. And this is, if we talk about Instagram, because that's our main focus right now. So on your bio, what you write in your bio, how your name is written, like you have this black bold line that is being now, how do you call that? The black bold line that is being searchable right now. So it should have a specific keyword. So which keywords should it have, and all those things which we can actually talk today.
Yeah, I want to talk about Instagram a bit more later on. I just want to finalize now. So those steps, how do you build your personal brand? Because lots of people, they just, they want to build their personal brand, but they have no idea how to start, where to go, whom to approach for that. And thank God we have you with us today. So, okay, now we have this first step. And what's going to be next step?
Perfect. So knowing who you are, communicating that to other people in the platform where you are.
Like online presence,
offline presence as well. Because when we go, that was one of the questions, if online, offline, or any part is more relevant. No, it's just a room of people that would hear who you are and understand if they want to deal with you in any shape or form. So here, I would say this, no matter if it's online or offline, when you come to an event, you need to introduce yourself. And you can start introducing yourself for 10 minutes and everybody is sleepy. Or you can directly say, I'm founder of personal brand coaching company, and I help experts, entrepreneurs to monetize their personal brand and sell their knowledge online, for example. And then you clearly shape who you are, what you do, to whom you do this. So this is what we call like positioning. And then content strategy. So you have a specific values, you have a specific goals, you have a specific story, and through content line, you communicate those things, those values. So you cannot talk like, "Hi guys, my value is freedom," and everybody is like,
clear.
"Okay, your value is freedom." But when you show on your Instagram how you quit your 9-to-5 job and started your business because you wanted to be financially free, you're actually saying on the surface, "Hey guys, my value is freedom." Or you say, for example, "I love traveling." We just say, 3 times a month I go for a trip because that gives me so much inspiration. Look, I'm in Prague, I'm in Berlin, and people start perceiving. So the communication strategy is about sharing who you are or where you go through the lines which people can perceive without even telling them that this is.
So basically, you have to wrap your values into visual examples.
Yeah. It could be storytellings on the stories, like storytelling in the sequence of little stories. I don't know which level our audience will be of how well you know the all the Instagram tool, but you have these stories where you can just put some images and you can just throw some images without any meaning, or you can make a meaningful appearance where you actually structure a storytelling art, which is, by the way, very important for the personal brand.
You mean highlights?
Or no, like storytelling as a skill.
Okay. Yeah.
But if we talk about the content strategy, okay, one part it's about you, but another big part is about actually your market, your people. So here is you on one side, right? And it's cool. Like we think like, now I come and I'm so good and like people will love me. They might love you.
I think I
there is a very cool question. It's like, do they like you because they like you, or they like you because you are like them, or like them that they want to be in the near future? So are you their best version of themselves? And when they see you, they actually see themselves. And here we come to a very important idea of personal branding, which is it's never about you. And he was like, everything was about you. And yes, everything was about me. So you can connect and understand that actually everything is about the people you are talking to.
And it's about, how they say it's about the skill of social interaction.
Yep.
How you can interact with people and how you show that, basically.
And how can you be valuable to them?
Yeah.
So it's actually about doing content that those people would see themselves or see their point B where they want to reach, or get something useful. So the second thing is like, if you want to build a strong personal brand and you want to monetize it in any shape or form, it can be with your business. But if your business, let's say you're a photographer and you're just saying, "Hi, I have these cool pictures and this is my story and these are the photos that I take." It's great. You could do that, but you could also do useful content for people. So whenever they are just filming themselves, you can show them some tricks and then they follow you because it's useful for them. And when it's time for them to hire a new photographer, there's like, this guy was helpful to me. I contact that guy and he had also amazing story, So it's like little pieces, you just build that thing. So from who you are and your foundation, how you came to that profession, to that business, to the way that people really understand who you are because you are clear in your messages, how can you help and to whom, and finally you communicate with them in a way that is useful for them and easy to understand.
Okay. And as I understood, you work with people from different countries, right?
Yeah.
Because I saw even on your Instagram, I saw that you have clients from Germany, from Australia, from lots of countries, actually. Yeah. And I just wonder about the difference and how it depends on markets. Do you have different strategies for specific countries, or it's all the same when it comes to personal branding?
So here, what's important to clarify, we work with personal brands. So we don't work with business pages. So we work with the pages where the person, like, it's me, it's my story.
Okay. So let's say if I want to come with you with our company, so I can't come to you as FT models, but I can come to you as Marina.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Because here the strategies are really different. So when you promote a personal brand and when you promote a business page, yes, the foundation is similar. The brand also needs to have an identity. The brands also need to understand who he is speaking to, communicate. So but inside and the way you do it, it's just different. So we decided to niche to the personal brands, and this actually have a meaning, and I'm going to share some interesting stats with you later on. But now, but now responding to your question, so when it comes to personal brand, there is no major difference in how you build personal brand in any country of the world. So we do have clients from more than 25 countries. Now we focus on the English-speaking market, and it is same. So everything we do, it is same. But there are few, I would say, cultural differences that are more based on how you perceive the information. So we talk about the visual aspect, and the value of visual aspect is different in different countries. So let's say in Eastern Europe, it is important that things are beautiful. It's just important. That's part of our culture. So you probably know that the restaurants are extremely beautiful. Hotels are like, the economy is down, but
but when it comes to other things,
exactly,
that's excellent.
Cafes, you can find the most beautiful cafes in the world somewhere in Kiev.
The affordable price.
Exactly. So that's because as a nation, we have a value of having beautiful things. And that value not necessarily in all the countries. So when we talk about the US, it's not important here. So when you work very hard on your content that is visually so beautiful on, let's say, Eastern Europe, it would be just creating a distance because it's not necessary.
You don't feed their values.
Exactly, because it's like, it's too beautiful for us, man. It's like, it's too perfect. Why is it all these 3 fonts are coming? So this is something that is different. And the other thing.
And what are values here in the US? Let's say when you start working with experts here, what are main values that you're trying to hit?
Yeah, cool. This is a cool question. So if we take we take the whole world, right? I break it down really fast. So Eastern Europe is about getting out of poverty. It's about not struggling anymore. It's like to prove that you can, because you are so afraid to go back and just die. You're always afraid of dying poor. So that's something that drives us as a nation. So in Europe, it's about life-work balance. It's like, I want to have a nice work that's provide for me, my family, so we can have a nice life. But I also have to have time for my health, for doing stuff, traveling,
personal space.
So it's important to have things in order and structure. Obviously, Europe is very different, right? So Spain is super different from Germany. But for all of them, it's really important to have this work-life balance. So the South America, Latin America is about family and religion. It's very important.
La familia.
Everything that they do is for their family. And if you tell them, come on Sunday to work, and you skip your church and you don't have a brunch with your family, they will say, no, that's nothing for me. No millions in the world worse that I miss my family brunch and my church. So this is very important, for example, as well, when you build business internationally. So the United States of America, United States is about success. It's about driving and getting things. It's about this American dream, right? It's about all building a nicer life. It's not about running out of poverty necessarily. So they don't have so much fears. They are driven by the goal and dream that they have in their mind. So people are working very hard here. Many people don't have any work-life balance at all. not only entrepreneurs, but also corporate people, they literally don't have it. So
Yeah, they sacrifice their lives to work.
The whole machine is about getting more things done and, trying to like focus and achieve that goal. So this is like when we talk about the cultural. And if you talk about the content, the way they perceive content is also a little bit different. So they like more simple fonts, it's like dynamic things. And this also has explanation, like Hollywood movies, the scene is changing like every few seconds, right? So
so it has to be very dynamic.
Yes, dynamic.
And simple.
Yes, like simple and dynamic, but simple doesn't mean necessarily cheap. So they really like podcast style interviews, which is actually came from here, from the United States. And it's very popular format where you just, in a beautiful, like, let's say with a beautiful lighting and studio with the quality stuff, you put the picture, you set the picture, they like it. They perceive it as an expert. Like they start perceiving as an expert that they see this kind of videos. So in other countries, as long as you deliver the value, you don't necessarily need to be sitting in a podcast studio. You don't need that. It is also obviously adding, but even if you're in the kitchen and you are sharing something valuable, people would still perceive. So like those little tiny details are
crucial,
important to understand, but the core of building a personal brand is the same worldwide.
So now you are an expert who helps other experts to sell their services or products with the high ticket, right? What does that mean? Does it mean that you help them to build their brands until the point when they increase their prices, like at least twice or even triple them? Or like, what does that mean? And how it works?
Great question. So I'm a great believer that every business in any kind should have high ticket offers, because the high ticket price is not about just feeling so cool and raising the prices to the sky. It's like hoping that some fool pay you one day. It's absolutely not about that. That has nothing to do with high ticket business. So the high ticket offers are about thinking, have to deliver more value to your people so they are ready to exchange much more money for what they are getting from you.
Okay.
So when we talk about your business, let's say, so you have a model agency, you have an academy. Let's like break them down to the academy. In your academy, you might have some accessible products or mass market products. I don't know, by the way, if you have them, but where people just come, they have like their coaching with the tutors, they go through a specific format. But when you sit with them and you analyze what they actually need, maybe you would figure out that their big dream is to make like a show somewhere in Paris. Or, you would figure out something and they would be ready to pay much more for that. Because that's their dream, or that's the skill they need, or that's something they just cannot find maybe anywhere in this, how they imagine it. So when you're able to identify those needs of your target audience, and it's also not for all the segment, it's for the premium segment who has the ability to think even about those things and want them, wish them. So when you understand them and you tailor an offer to them, you can raise your prices unlimited. I know coaches who are charging $100,000, $200,000 for the coaching, but they deliver much more value for that specific group of people.
I see. From my experience, I can say that in different countries, I met people who, they just have some sort of expectations. And of course, when you sell your program, you sell your product, you sell it in a beautiful way, because everyone does that. And you have to do that. But even if you're being very, very direct about deliveries, sometimes people, they still have some sort of expectations and dreams. How do you work on that?
That's a great question. And actually, this is the whole point why the coaching industry is now not necessarily always has a good reputation. It's because coaches and students are misunderstanding what they are getting and what they need to do for that. So when the coaching just started to spread out, people were buying it like a magical pill. Like, okay, I buy it and now all my problems are gone. So more they buy coaching, more they understand. They buy information, they buy skills in case they start implementing and making it like one another times until it becomes skill. So eventually the person needs to do the work. So this is super important to understand. That's why exist all kind of agreements, terms and conditions, and this is an absolute must. So in most of the websites where we operate, where our coaching is placed, everywhere you need to read and agree with the terms and conditions.
And ask questions.
And
if you have any.
Exactly. And always in the terms and conditions, we break clearly that we are giving you approved methods, but you need to implement them. Therefore, you are responsible for your own result. And also, it's now important to mention that when you show case studies, you need to tell that the actual success story is not a very high amount. And you need to understand that those success stories are chosen to be shown in the marketing space. So the coaching industry itself, like when we speak about education, and that's one point that I was hardly working on, and I'm working on that every day, is to increase the success rate at every stage. You know how many people buy the program and never open that?
Oh, actually a lot. A lot of people,
Because when they buy a program, they already feel like, okay, I did the first step toward my goal, but then they need to work more and more.
They have to step it again.
Exactly. It's like, let's give example. You go to whiten your teeth, right? You whiten your teeth, everything looks good, and they tell you, don't drink coffee today. And you go and you just drink coffee, and every single day you drink coffee. So in a couple of weeks probably, or a month or so, your teeth will be yellow again. And because you can just, you can buy success. You can build with the tools, information, method, and your own consistency.
That's a great quote, that you can't buy success, but you can build it.
Exactly.
That's a good one.
Exactly.
I completely understand, because we do have lots of people, who might enroll into the program, and after that they just don't show up,
disappear.
And it's like it's a very shocking thing, because it's not that cheap. It's not cheap. We have a great policy about rescheduling. We're trying to be very supportive on that, because nowadays it's just like everyone is so busy with their work stuff and whatever, but still it's so important to understand why you came and what's your what outcome you expect from that. And that it's always about both sides responsibility. It's never one side responsibility. And if you just pay, it's not going to help you. You have to work, and you have to work not just during this program, but you have to keep working on that if you want the success. And it comes to any industry, like absolutely any industry, whatever. It's a modeling course, or it's acting course, or I don't know, even if it's just a business course, you have to implement your knowledges and you have to work on your skills.
100%. But what really helps you to, to understand. So in every industry, there's key metrics. And what really helps to understand if you're doing well is understanding the benchmarks. Is understanding, okay, so what is the actual opening rate in the course? And you see it's like 25%. So when you see you're doing 50, you can compliment yourself instead of saying, why it's not 100%? Because it's also like some things you can change. Obviously, I'm a big believer that, you put your key metrics and you see and you work on making them like the best in your industry, but you can never make it 100%. Whenever I see 100%, I say, okay, you work with a few people, right? When you work with a few people, it's like you can make everything.
That's so true.
But when you're at scale, you don't you see the general statistic, and yet you keep personal approach everywhere and trying to understand and, be flexible, as you say, sometimes in personal situations, but you already can't make it 100%. There is no way, and you shouldn't blame yourself for that.
That's like, when you check a Google map and you check on some places, whatever, it might be a restaurant or whatever company, and if you see 5 stars, I'm like always, okay, that's cool, but why it's 5 stars? Like very suspicious. How many reviews are here? Like if it's like 16 reviews, okay, maybe that might be the case. Then when if it's like 4.9, okay, that's good. 4.8, that's good. 4.7, you know. So because it looks realistic. 5 stars are never, like, it doesn't look real. That's why even when, you know, our employees sometimes like are upset about some bad Google reviews, I'm like, okay, but that's normal because we are working and we have lots of clients. So it means that we have clients actually. And we don't even need to work on those reviews. Reply them, of course, but not like, delete or whatever, because it's a great guideline for people who want search in our company, and they can see even those reviews. They can see them. They can pay attention on how do we reply on that reviews, because I believe that it's just very important how company replies on that, how you handle that, whatever it's company or if it's a personal, like when it comes to Instagram, and you know, just like if you have some haters, it's more about how do you react on that cases. So I'm like very chill about that, because it helps us to filter people, and if there are some people who might have same expectations and as those who left those comments, that's good, because you just know it in advance and you don't waste your time and our time, so you don't come. That's it.
And we actually came naturally to one of the super important topics that probably stops and prevents people from shining and building their personal brand, which is hatred. So hating is something unavoidable. How they say, even the most beautiful sound of the nature has negative reviews. So you can't absolutely avoid it. And it's a part of the game. So whenever you want to become someone influential, how the person becomes influential. So some people resonate with you, but some people don't. You always have a minimum 2 sides of the story. So when you have a football match, you always have 2 parties, right? And this is like everywhere like this. So whenever you don't have any negative comments, means that you don't impact anyone. They're just supporting you, and you don't impact, because when you really impact, you trigger. When you trigger, it means you wake people up and shake their image of how the things should work. Let's say.
Do you have haters? Sorry to interrupt.
Of course I do.
Like, why they hate you?
And actually, when you were talking about bad reviews in Google, that was such a great point, because you said something like, it's how you handle it on one hand, and on another hand is what do you take from there? Because whenever we get negative comments, it's also for us, wherever it is ethical, right? So whenever it's something that is somebody just structured their opinion, right? It's not that just they insult you. Whenever they insult me, for example, they just get banned immediately. But whenever they say something that I
at least structured,
yes, but I not necessarily like, but they defend their point of view. For example, somebody wrote me a message. It was a year ago, a business lady, hire a stylist. And you know what I did?
You did hire
a stylist. So I was like, if the people don't perceive me as, it's fashionable and stylish, and in this point, why she wrote it? Because it triggered her, because even she's not stylish, but she's showing up, she's teaching others, how can she do something like that?
Right?
So it's
how dare she
exactly. She was like, how dare you? But then I looked at that comment and I was like, all right, I didn't feel good about it, but am I actually considering myself stylish? And it's not really. So should I get help on that? And that's what I did. I just got today. You can see my performance.
Yeah, your style is great. You're absolutely gorgeous. First time when I met you, I was like, oh wow, such a stylish girl. So you impressed me with your style.
Thank you.
And sometimes style, it's just it's all about first impression. So, and it worked.
Yes.
It worked.
Yeah. So that hating apparently comment turned to be a great thing to me. And I also compliment my stylist for making amazing work, and also myself for putting my time and effort and money in all this process. Because every single day I was fitting what she tells me, going, buying, ordering, like try. I never wore accessories before. So you gotta go out of your comfort zone as well in order to implement something new. And I think that's also important to mention, right? Because we think like, okay, we hire a coach or we hire a company and then we can keep doing the same things. No, girl.
No.
If you want to do something else, you're going to do it different. Like if you want to receive, like if you want to get different results, you're going to do something different on a different way and a different structure. So that's like all related. But yes, it's a part of the story. As I told you, like some people are just afraid of that. And then it's like, what are you afraid of? You are afraid of being actually influential, but don't you believe in what you say? It's like, I cannot say this in the video. Do you believe this? Yes. So you are not brave. And there is another point. It's like, are you another follower or you are someone to follow? Right? Because follower doesn't necessarily can stand and back up their words. They're not saying because they're afraid, right? But when you are being followed, you are the voice. So if you are the voice and it's within obviously like, ethical things but it's just a brave, bold statement, why not?
Okay, that was beautiful.
Part of you.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Okay, and let's talk a bit about models. Let's say, what strategy would you advise to someone who is stepping into modeling and fashion industry as a model or content creator?
Great question. So here we come to the same thing. So if you are a model, you have your story, right? And I would definitely take that story out because that's something that it's just something beautiful about the whole thing, because that shows, the boldness or the opposite, maybe the softness of your character. So I would structure the story. I would do it the same way. And then I would think myself, what are the brands that I really want to work with? What are the brands that I love, that I resemble with my personality? And I would start targeting the image and look of those specific brands because they don't have like, they might have like imagination. Okay, out of this girl, we can do something like that. And obviously with experience and observation skills, you're going to do that. But imagine if you are like, see a person and you're like, oh my God, she is already Prada model. She's just not with us yet. So let's change this mistake, right? So I would do this. I would,
that's why lately there's so many cases when huge brands like Prada, Balenciaga, they approach very, very small influencers, content creators on social media just because they are hit their core values. I mean, because they're very aligned on their style and whatever they're doing. It's just like, that's what they want, that's what they need. So sometimes to work with such huge brands, I would say as a content creator, because still being a model for those companies is a bit different, but you can work with those companies if you just understand what kind of content they want you to share and what are your values. Because these content creators, influencers, they show their values through their social media.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's like a crucial thing.
Exactly. They communicate their messages in a specific way that is understood and perceived as such. So whenever you like you see a great content creator out there and you like look for the new things, it's like, are we going to take someone and make it change their style for our product? No, we just take someone where it fits the best. And this is part of our communities already, anyways. So I would say this is also like so similar when you want to work with a specific type of people. So when you want to work with entrepreneurs respect entrepreneurs, right?
Yes.
So when they understand that you understand them, everything changes. So those psychologists that build successful companies, successful clinics, let's say, they are more willing to work successfully with entrepreneurs because they not only understand their thing, but they also understand the business. So whenever the person comes, they really understand what's the problem. The same thing with coaches. Whenever you talk to a business coach, and the business coach never done business, he would be throwing you around the strategies that are highly theoretical, but might not have anything to do with the real business. This is why I'm actually standing against traditional BA and MBA system. I was there for a few years. I have seen so many people with MBA.
Why? Because it's very theoretical, not that practical, or
it is just the skills that are being trained and the timing that is being consumed in order to do that is just not how you do stuff anymore.
Okay. So it's kind of like too old-fashioned.
It's outdated. It's so outdated, and it takes so huge time for universities to adapt. It's insane. So I'm a huge believer in the private education because it's just much more flexible.
Okay, Krystyna, thank you very much for sharing your expertise with us. And the last question that I would love to ask you is actually, how do you see yourself in 5 years? Do you plan to stay here, or what's your plan about your personal brand?
Great question. So I see myself on the stages in the United States of America and worldwide.
Okay.
I consider myself a global citizen. So being here in the US, it's a big luck and a big reward for all my journey, I believe, because it's just a country that completely matches with my values as we discuss about it. So I really believe that you need to find that place where you are just understood and where your best core and energies are just flowing. So for me, it's United States. I want to be and cover the stages and help people to sell their services and knowledge through their personal brands and build successful businesses. So I would be traveling across, giving talks, developing and scaling my coaching companies, and making some great noise while building my personal brand and helping people to do the same.
I wish you all the best with your strategy, life strategy. And I think next time I'll see you on the TED Talks.
Yeah.
I hope so. Thank you, Krystyna. It's
so
a pleasure
much.
to having you with us.
Thank you so much.
And thank you guys for watching this video. If you have any questions to Krystyna, we'll be sharing her social media profiles. Just check it below. And thank you for your attention. Bye-bye.
Bye.